Hello, boys and girls. A very good evening and welcome to this live session on commonly asked questions from quantitative aptitude in IT jobs placement test. This session is brought to you by Talent Sprint. I hope all of you are healthy and your preparation for these IT jobs aptitude tests is in full swing. Well, before we begin, I would like to, share the news about this big notification that's come out. Of course, it is not for an IT job, but for a bank PO job, right? You must be aware that the SBI PO notification for the year 2017 is out, and there are 2,300 jobs out there. Now, my suggestion to all of you is, since the syllabus is largely the same, why don't you give it a shot, right? If you are in your final year and if you think you will get your degree by 1st of July 2017, you can give it a shot, all right? Well, let me not talk more about that here in detail because the session is meant for IT. So let's focus on what we are going to do today. I see a lot of you have already joined the chat, right? I can see Bharat Yadav, Rajiv Reddy, Prakash Srivastava, Sanket Shahane, and others there in the chat. So hi guys, how are you all and how's your preparation? We also have Raj Yadav here. So good to see you all. Are we ready to begin? For the benefit of others, let me mention that there's a chat box available beside your video screen, which can be used to interact with us, right? So if you have any query or any question at any point of time in this live session, just post the same in the chat box and I would love to address it. Raj Yadav has posted here that I faced my first aptitude class today in my college and I'm not confident about my journey towards aptitude preparation. Well, Raj, I know it would be a little disappointing when you realize that you're not up to the mark or you're not, ready to take an aptitude test. But again, you have yourself mentioned that that was your first aptitude class, right? So I think you should take this setback or take this failure as a learning and try and improve from here, right? Try to understand what is or what are those areas we really need to focus on and start preparing. See, nothing is impossible, right? What is tested in these IT jobs aptitude tests is what we have learned in our 10th standard, right? They don't ask questions on higher engineering mathematics or subjects, topics like calculus or integration, right? Questions are all very basic from arithmetic aptitude, right? So I think it's really very easy to crack, just that you have to learn all the concepts thoroughly, right? Understand smart methods and techniques to solve such questions and keep practicing, right? Remember, these aptitude tests are purely a game of practice. The more you practice, the easier it gets, okay? So if you ask me what is a shortcut that can help us succeed in these exams, I would say the shortcut is to practice more. The more you practice, the easier it gets, okay? So learn the concepts. We have lots of videos for all the topics, all the question types across all the sections of these tests there. You can explore that content, right? Learn through those videos, practice using our Olivia mock exams and other practice tests, and just keep preparing. We also have others who have joined the chat here: Pooja Bishnoi, Abhilash, Ramayam Pate, and others there. So good. Any other questions before we begin? So what are we going to do today? We have chosen some questions that have been asked in the recent placement drives of various companies at various locations, right? So some of those questions have been chosen. I have a set of those questions here. I'll present these to you one after the other, give you some time to try it out, and then discuss the solution with you all. Okay. So if you're all ready, we can quickly get started. Yeah, I also see Roja joining the chat here. So good evening, Roja. Welcome to this session. I hope you are doing great and your preparation is also, on track. Now, since the session is on quantitative aptitude, let me, give you one very important suggestion. I'm sure if you follow this, if you do this dedicatedly, you will really feel the difference in a span of 3 weeks or so, right? What do you think is the most important tool that can help you score more in quantitative aptitude? See, there are a lot of topics that are asked in quantitative aptitude. There are other sections like reasoning aptitude and verbal aptitude when you go for your aptitude IT jobs test, right? But particularly in quantitative aptitude, there's one common thing which all of us lack, right? And a bigger problem is that we don't even realize that we lack in this area. You know what I'm talking about? The way we do our calculations. Understand, every question from the subject of quantitative aptitude involves numbers, right? Be it time and work, or time and distance, or profit and loss, or data interpretation, or for that matter, number systems, partnerships. You just name a topic, permutations and combinations, probability. You have to deal with numbers in every single question that you solve. Now, just running behind the shortcut formula is not going to help you. I'm sure if I ask this question, and I've asked this question every time I meet students, right? That what do you think can help you score more? One common response that I get is, we should know smart methods and shortcuts, shortcut formula, which is partially correct, I would say, right? See, what all of us are doing here is trying to learn more and more shortcuts, trying to learn more and more formulae that can help you get the answer faster. But depending solely on the shortcut formula is not going to help you, right? You need to know something more, and that is the way you do your calculation. Because eventually, every question that you solve, whether you use a shortcut formula or a conventional method, you have to do some simplification. Only then you can arrive at the answer. And that simplification part is where most of us end up wasting a lot of time. And we don't realize. I mean, if I ask you, do you know multiplication? All of you will say, yes, I know how to multiply. Do you know how to add and subtract? You say, yes. Do you know how to divide? Yes, all of you will say, yes. Right? If I ask you what is 5 into 6, answer is 30, right? What is 7 into 8? 7 into 8, 56, right? What is 3 into 9? 27. Or what is 12 into 3? 36, right? But what if I ask you what is 36 into 72? You'll immediately start working on paper. And that is where we are failing. And like I said, the problem is we don't even realize that we are committing a mistake. You will get the right answer. But then doing 36 into 72 on paper is not the best way to arrive at the answer, right? I mean, it's not a complex question. I did not ask you what is 373 into 492. Put it on paper, no problem. But 36 into 72, or for that matter, what is, let's say, 64 into 49? Very easy to calculate. I mean, if you know the right technique to do that simplification, you will be able to arrive at the answer in about 3-4 seconds. Like, for example, 64 into 49 you have to do, that's like 3,200 minus 64. So 3,136 is the answer. Believe me, I did not memorize this. I am doing this calculation on the spot. And if I can do this, I'm sure all you guys can do the same, right? What is the difference? Practice. I've gone through a lot of practice. I practice on numbers every day. And you also have to do that so that you can maximize your score, right? See, shortcut formulae are limited, right? I mean, you can learn all the shortcut formulae in about 24 hours. You can learn those by heart and apply. But where are we failing? Are we failing in not knowing the shortcut formula? No, we are failing in the way we do our calculation. Okay, so the same question which you had otherwise solved in 45 seconds could have been answered in maybe 32 seconds if you had done the calculation in a faster way. Okay, so my advice or suggestion to all of you is spend time on numbers. Every day, spend about 35 to 40 minutes on numbers. Okay, 35 to 40 minutes per day on just doing calculations. We have a speed maths video available. You can just go through that, learn all the techniques. I have covered about 16 different techniques of doing different types of calculations. So just go through that, practice every day, 35-40 minutes, and I'm sure within 21 days, you'll find that yes, you have improved a lot, right? But do it sincerely, right? You have to do this with a lot of dedication. Okay, so with that note, let's quickly get into the session now. All I'll do is share my screen with you, present the questions one after the other, and look at the solutions. Okay, I think there are a few more comments. Let me quickly, I'll present the question first and then see if there are any questions to be addressed. So here we go. The first question on your screens now. Okay, hold on. Let me also pull out the pen that I'm supposed to use. Yeah, here we go. So here's the first question. It says, in the stream running at 2 kilometers per hour, a motorboat goes 14 kilometers upstream and back to the starting point in 77 minutes. Find the speed of the second motorboat, whose speed is 5 kilometers per hour more than half of the first motorboat in still water. Now, there's a question from time and distance, or boats and streams to be specific. You have 1 minute to try this, and your time starts now. Meanwhile, let me just go through the comments and see if there's anything that I have to Anything relevant that I have to address? सर्वेश कुमार सिंह से सर पीडीएफ दे दीजिए फॉर्मूले का. सो सर्वेश, आई थिंक हमने ऑलरेडी पीडीएफ दे रखा है अपने स्टूडेंट्स को, जहां पर सभी शॉर्टकट फॉर्मूले मेंशन किए गए हैं. आप भी एक्सेस कर सकते हो, राइट? टैलेंट स्प्रिंट के अकाउंट में लॉगिन करेंगे तो आपको ये पीडीएफ इजीली डाउनलोड कर पाएंगे, राइट? एनीवे, अगर नहीं भी मिला है अभी तक तो वी विल सी टू इट दैट वी मेक इट अवेलेबल टू ऑल ऑफ यू. Raj Yadav has asked a question. Is only speed mathematics should be focused or also shortcut progression? I think, Raj, we have to focus on both, right? Like I said, simply learning shortcut formula would not help. You should know how do you execute the formula. And that is where your calculation skills would come handy. So focus on your speed mathematics and learn the shortcut formula and the smart methods. I think we have put some testimonial here. Asha Jaisimha says, thank you, sir. By watching your lecture class, I got placed in an MNC company. Aptitude class helped me a lot. Thank you so much. So congratulations, Asha. I'm glad to know that you've got placed in a multinational company, and I'm sure you do well in your career ahead. All the very best for your future. And I'm sure even others can learn through the videos that we have. And then again, it is not that you have got it because of us, right? You have worked hard, you have put in your efforts. So others also can do the same, follow your steps and get the dream IT job. Okay, answers. I think time is up. Let me just see if you guys have got the answers to this one, got the answer to this particular question. Okay, no answer yet. So looks like it's taking longer than what I'd expected. Shall we try it out now? Okay, 10 more seconds and then we'll look at it, right? 10 more seconds, then we'll see the solution. Quick. Pooja Bishnoi says, sir, CI and SI बताइएगा. Well, Pooja, आज के इस presentation में simple and compound interest है या नहीं मुझे नहीं पता. आगे चलेंगे तभी पता चलेगा. But don't worry, next time when we meet, we will take up a few questions from this topic of simple and compound interest as well. Any answer there? Any response? No. Okay, so I think enough time. Looks like all of you have failed to arrive at the answer. Let us discuss the solution now. So what does it say? It says in a stream which is running at 2 kilometers per hour, right? There's a stream which is, running at 2 kilometers per hour. A motor boat, right? There's a boat that goes 14 kilometers upstream and back to the starting point. Understand? This motor boat goes 14 kilometers upstream and it goes back to the starting point in 77 minutes. All right. Now find the speed of the second motor boat, whose speed is 5 kilometers per hour, more than half of the first motor boat in still water. Okay, I see that Asif Ali Khan is the first one to respond here. He's got 20 as answer, option E, 20. So let's see if that is correct. Okay, so basically a question from boats and streams. The speed of the stream is 2 kilometers per hour. A motor boat covers 14 kilometers upstream and comes back to the starting point, which means 14 kilometers downstream. So total distance covered is how much? 28 kilometers, right? 14 kilometers up and 14 kilometers down. And this was done in 77 minutes. Now, if only the first part of the question is looked at, we can find out the speed of the motor boat, right? Because all the other variables are given to us. But then the actual question is talking about the speed of some other boat, right? Find the speed of the second motor boat, whose speed is 5 kilometers per hour more than half of the first motor boat's speed in still water. So basically, you have to first work on the speed of the first motor boat only, right? Find out the speed of first motor boat. Now what do we do? Let's write the time equation. See, what is the 77 minutes? The time taken for the boat to go upstream and downstream. time taken to cover it upstream and downstream. So do that now. There are two parts here, right? You can cut down these steps in the exam, but let me just write it here for the sake of explanation, right? Time taken to travel upstream plus time taken to travel downstream is equal to the total time. Now substitute. What is time, by the way? Time is equal to distance by speed. Time is distance by speed. So what is the distance covered upstream? 14 kilometers by speed. See, when a boat is going upstream, the net speed or the effective speed should be taken as speed of the boat minus speed of the stream. Let us assume the speed of the first boat. Speed of the first boat is equal to S. Let's assume it is S. So here the net speed will come out to be S minus 2 plus time taken to go downstream. How much will this be? 14 kilometers is the distance covered downstream. And what is the speed? When you go downstream, it should be S plus 2, right? Because this downstream increases your speed, right? It helps you move faster. Is equal to the total time. The total time is 77 minutes. But there's one problem here. The equation is not balanced. If you see, on the left-hand side, we have got 14 kilometers, right? 2 kilometers per hour. So these units are all standard, right? Kilometers per hour. But what we have on the right-hand side is in minutes. So you have to convert this minute to hours. How do you do that? Divide by 60. Divide 77 by 60 to convert this to hours. Now this is the equation. Can you solve this now? Yes. If you solve, what do you get? The speed of the first boat, S. But what do we actually have to find out? The speed of the second boat. What is he saying? The speed of the second boat is equal to 5 kilometers per hour more than half of the first motor boat. So half of the first motor boat is S by 2 plus 5. The speed of the second boat is half of the first boat's speed plus 5 kilometers. Now, I'm sure all of you would have realized that solving this equation would be a little complex. Why is it so? Because the quadratic equation is involved. I mean, we have got the unknown value in the denominator, and if you try and simplify, we'll get, a square minus b square kind of a denominator, and then you'll have to work on that. What would a smart student do? Instead of solving the equation, he will substitute the options back into the question. Now, how do you substitute the options? See, the question is about second boat's speed. So which means whatever is given in the option is the speed of the second boat, right? 16 kilometers per hour or 24 kilometers per hour or 22 or 20. What does these values represent? These values represent the speed of the second boat. From the speed of the second boat, can you find out the speed of the first boat? Yes. So if you actually see, I can say speed of the first boat, S, is equal to 2 times the speed of the second boat. Speed of the second boat minus 10, right? Are you able to follow? For S minus 5 into 2, which is 2 times the speed of the second boat. So simple logic here is substitute the options one after the other into this equation. You'll get the speed of the first boat and substitute that back and check which one satisfies. I know this looks like a little time consuming, but like I said, if you are strong in your calculations, doing this verification would not take much of your time, right? And no need to depend on a shortcut formula. I mean, we can probably derive a shortcut formula for this type of a question as well, but why? Why do we have to depend on so many shortcuts? If you're strong in your concept, you'll be able to solve this without any difficulty. Right? So give it a shot. Let's substitute option B. Option A anyway cannot be substituted other than the given options it says. Substitute option B, 16. Let's substitute 16 here. So according to option B, what will be the speed of the first boat? It will be 2 into 16 minus 10. 2 16s is 32 minus 10 is 22. So now this 22 has to be put here and check if it satisfies. By the way, I can say this is 7 into 2, 7 into 2 and 7 into 11. So substitute 2 by 22 minus 2 is 20 plus 2 by 22 plus 2 is 24 equals to 11 by 60. Simplify this now. So it's like 1 by 10 and 1 by 12. So 10 and 12, the LCM is 60. 5 times plus 6 times. Is it not 11 by 60? Yes, it is. You getting it? The left-hand side is balanced with the right-hand side. So can I say option B is the correct answer? Yes. Hence, 16 kilometers per hour, option B would be the final answer. I would say we are lucky that option B is satisfied. If option B does not satisfy this equation, then you'll have to go for option C, D, E till you get the right answer. Are you able to follow? So do not go by the length of the explanation or the number of steps that we have put on paper, right? When you actually solve it in the exam, you don't have to write all this. I mean, you'll directly put this equation. Don't do all this drama here, right? Directly work on the options there and substitute one after the other to check which one satisfies. Okay, so the correct answer to this question is option B, 16 kilometers per hour. Let's go for the next one. Here's the next one. Let's see how many of you get this right. Okay, now the next question is from permutations and combinations. I mean, we have seen that the aptitude papers of, IT jobs, conducted for IT jobs, have high weightage for questions on permutations and combinations. Again, not every time, but some companies do give this high weightage. So here's one question on permutations and combinations. Check this. In how many ways can the 7 letters A, B, C, D, E, F, and G be arranged so that C and E are never together? So that C and E are never together. And this shouldn't take more than 30 seconds in your exam. Anyway, I'll give you about a minute here and your time starts now. Harita has mentioned that it's not visible. Please zoom. Well, Harita, I think we are streaming in the best quality possible. All you will have to do is adjust your resolution, adjust the picture resolution at your end, right? There's a settings button on the bottom right of your video screen, a gear-like icon. Use that to adjust the picture resolution. I'm sure you'll be able to see the question clearly after that. All right, Amol Kumar is the first one to answer this, and he has got 5040. Well, I don't know if you've got the right or wrong answer, Amol, but spend a lot of time to arrive at whatever you arrive at. And anyway, compared to others, you're faster. So let's see what others have got to say. Sharmila's marked option D as the answer. 1440. Option D. And in fact, she's asking, is it option D? Well, we'll get to know that only when we solve it. Waiting for a few more responses. 5040 or 1440. Any other response there? Let me see how many of you support Amol and who all support Sharmila. Or is there a different party altogether? Pooja Vishnu has also got 1440. 1440. So looks like D is what sounds like. Okay, Pooja has now changed her answer. She's supporting Amol with 5040. Sarvesh Kumar has got D. Okay, let's try it out. I think I've given you enough time. Let's look at what the correct answer is. So the question here reads, in how many ways can the 7 letters A, B, C, D, E, F, and G be arranged so that C and E are never together? So basically there are 7 letters A to G. Now you have to arrange these 7 letters in such a way that C and E are never together. So that's like a complex problem, right? I mean, 7 letters means 7 positions, right? These are the 7 positions. Now, in how many ways can you arrange these 7 letters so that C and E are never together? Which means there should be at least one letter between C and E. So if we try and do it conventionally, what would happen? For example, let us assume if C comes in the first position, can E come in the second position? No. E has to come in third, or fourth, or fifth, or sixth, or seventh. So there are 5 possibilities in the first case itself. If C is in first position, then E can be in third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh position. Suppose E is in second position, then can E come in first position? No. Can E come in third position? No. It should be in either fourth or fifth or sixth or seventh, and so on. There will be a number of phases possible there, right? And verifying all those would make our life miserable. So that definitely is not the right way to arrive at the answer. Then what do we do? See, let's understand. Let us first find out how many words can be formed. We've got 7 letters and 7 positions. So in how many days can this be done? 7 factorial. I mean, that's very simple, right? 7 letters and 7 positions. You have to arrange them and find out the number of possible words. So it's very simple. The first position can be filled in 7 ways. Second one can be filled in 6 ways. Third one in 5 ways, 4 ways, 3 ways, and so on. So overall, 1 into 2 into 3 into so on up to 7, which is 7 factorial. What is 7 factorial? 5040. I mean, if you learn this by heart, remember this value, you know that 7 factorial is 5040. Now, definitely your answer should be less than 5040. Why is it so? See, without any condition, we get 5040 words. But there is a condition involved. What is the condition? That C and E should never be together. When you say C and E should never be together, a lot of cases would get eliminated. Now, a smart person would immediately say option A and option B are ruled out, because answer should be less than 5040. So A cannot be the answer. B also cannot be the answer. 3600 is possible. 1440 is possible. Option 5, none of this is always a possibility. Let's suppose that 4 of these options get eliminated after this. Do you have to solve? No. So this is a very important trait that all of you must build now. Eliminate the options as you keep solving the question step by step. I mean, when you just do this 7 factorial 5040, instantaneously you would know that A and B are wrong. If I'm lucky and C and D also get eliminated, then I'll mark fifth option E as the answer. Simple logic. Answer has to be less than 5040. Even without doing the complete solution, we would be able to mark the answer. Okay, so it's very important that you eliminate options like this. Now, how do you find out the right answer? 3600 or 1440 or something else? What do we do? See, you must have gone through our videos on permutation and combinations. I think in model number 3 or model number 4 of permutations and combinations, we have discussed the number of ways in which a particular word can be formed, or number of ways in which a group of letters can be arranged such that no two are together. See, like I said, doing it directly would take a lot of time, what we have discussed here. Let's do it indirectly. What do we mean when we say do it indirectly? From the total number of cases, let's subtract all the cases where C and D are together. So from 5040, if you subtract all the ways where C and D are together, will you get the ways where C and D are not together? Yes, and you're true. Now, so which means you have to now focus on finding out all the words where C and E are together. C and E is like one unit. What are the other letters? A, B, B, F, G. So total how many letters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remember, C and E should be considered as one letter. It is one letter. It's not two different letters, right? Because they're connected now. C and E are always together. So 6 letters can be arranged in how many ways? 6 letters can be arranged in 6 factorial ways. Internally, C and E can be arranged in 2 factorial ways. I'm sure you know this concept, right? Go back and watch our model 4 from permutations and combinations. You would know this. So 6 factorial into 2 factorial. So these are the number of ways where C and E are together, right? These are the number of ways where all these 7 letters can be arranged. If I take the difference of these two, will we get the required answer? Yes. So your final answer would be 5040 minus 6 factorial into 2. In fact, a smart way of doing the calculation is convert this into 7 factorial. Or you know that 7 factorial can be taken as 7 into 6 factorial. So what happens? 7 into 6 factorial minus 2 into 6 factorial. So if you take 6 factorial common, we are left with 7 minus 2. What is 6 factorial? 720. 7 minus 2 is 5. How much will this be? 3600. Option C is the answer. You're getting it? 2 factorial is equal to 2. So 7 into 6 factorial, 2 into 6 factorial. Let's take 6 factorial common. 7 minus 2, 5. 720 into 5, 3600. Option C. I would repeat myself. Please do not go by the length of the explanation or the number of steps that you have put on paper. Right? When you do it yourself, I think the only step that you would put on paper, a smart person would put on, you don't have to do all this diagrams and all this drama in the exam, right? I mean, you can understand this mentally. All you will write on paper is 7 factorial minus 6 factorial into 2 factorial and simplify to the answer. Okay, I think Jindal here has got the right answer, right? Option C, 3600, 7 factorial minus 2 into 6 factorial. Let me come back to the video for a few seconds. Did you all follow this? Can we move to the next one? I'm actually a little disappointed that you are unable to crack this. Right, a lot of you have marked option D as the answer, 1440. Some of you said it is 5040. Do you all follow this? Can we go to the next question? We're already at 6:38. Just about 20 minutes for the session to get over. So let me quickly hear it out from you so that I can move to the next one. Shall we go to the next one? Let us see who all had got the right answer then. Jindal was one. Then, yeah, I think Prakhar Srivastava also got C as the answer. Sarvesh Kumar also changed it later on, right? He also got it C. Nanda had got option C, 3600. Yes, about 4 or 5 of you. So let's move to the next one. I've got a couple of confirmations here from Manoj Prajapati and Prakhar Srivastava. So let me share the screen again and present the next question to you. Here we go. Okay, here's the next one. One more question from permutations and combinations. What does it say? How many numbers are there in all from 4000 to 4999, both included, having at least one of their digits repeated? So we have to find out all the numbers from 4000 to 4999, which have got at least one of their digits repeated. Got it? I need at least one response before we proceed with the solution. So I want all of you to be quick. Okay, Jindal again has got option C, 496. Good. Let's wait for others. Jindal. Yeah, and he has also given us the solution that he had done. 1000 minus 9 into 8 into 7. All right. How about others? Anybody else there? At least comment that you have failed when you are unable to crack it. You have got stuck. Right? Nothing wrong in accepting your, defeat there. I mean, if you're not able to do, so that I know that most of you are stuck and I can proceed with the solution. I'm assuming that you're solving it. Just because you're not responding, I would be thinking you're solving it. Karthik has got D, 504. Karthik says it should be option D, 504. So 2 different responses already. How many of you are stuck? Okay, Srivastava has also got 496. Vamshi says he's struck. How about others? All right, let's discuss this now. I think I've given you enough time. I see that 3 of you have got 496, and there's one guy there, Karthik, who's got option D 504. So let's give it a shot now. So what is the question here? How many numbers are there in all from 4000 to 4999? Both 4000 and 4999 included, having at least one of their digits repeated. Having at least one of their digits repeated. So basically, he's talking about numbers from 4000 to 4999, and both inclusive, right? Both 4000 and 4999 are included. So how many numbers are there, do you think? How many numbers would be there? 4,999, not 4,990. How many numbers are there between 4,000 and 4,999? There'll be 1,000 numbers, right? You have got 1,000 numbers. Yes or no? See, it's like, let's assume this is 0 to 999. There are 999 numbers. I mean, 0 to 999, there are 1,000 numbers. I mean, from 1 to 999, or I mean, if you are getting confused, from 4001, so on up to 4,999, there will be 999 numbers. But he's asking us to include 4,000 as well, which is 1, right? So these total gives you 1,000 numbers. So there are 1,000 numbers here. Now we have to find out that out of these 1,000 numbers, how many have at least one of their digits repeated. Now the same problem again, finding out how many have at least one of their digits repeated is going to be very complex. Again, when he says at least one, there can be more than one digit which gets repeated. Like for example, what all numbers have to be considered here? You have to consider all those numbers like 4401 or 4332. All these are numbers that he's asking us to count, because at least one of the digits is repeated. Here 4 is repeated, here 3 is repeated, or maybe we have 4655, 5 is repeated, or maybe we have 4646. This is a number with 4 repetition, 4 is repeated and 6 is repeated, right? At least one of the digits repeated. 2 also can get repeated, right? Or we may have like 4999, right? This digit 9 is repeated. I mean, one digit can repeat twice also, like 999, right? Or we may have 4777, right? Or for that matter 4444. All these numbers have to be counted. All such numbers have to be counted, where at least one of the digits is repeated. Now doing that again directly would take a lot of time. So let's do it indirectly. What do you mean by doing it indirectly? Let us find out all the numbers without any repetition. Let us find all the numbers between 4,000 and 4,999 without any repetition. Subtract that count from 1,000 to get the required answer. Yes or no? So let's find out all the numbers without repetition. All the numbers without repetition. How do you do this? See, there are 4 places. Remember, the first place can always be filled only in one way, because it will always start with 4. You see, in all these numbers, the starting digit is 4, because our range is 4,000 to 4,999. So the thousands place will always remain 4, which means the thousands place can be filled only in one way. Now, in how many ways can you fill this 100th place? It can be filled in 9 ways. See, total from 0 to 9, there are 10 digits. Out of 10 digits, one digit has already been occupied by this 1,000th place, right? 4. So 4 is excluded now. We are left with 9 digits. Any of those 9 digits can come here. Yes. That 10th place can be filled in how many ways? Only in 8 ways. See, whichever digit comes here, it cannot come elsewhere. So now the choice is reduced to 8. Then 7. Which means the total number of numbers without repetition are what? 1 into 9 into 8 into 7. So 9 8s 72, 72 into 7. How much is 72 into 7? It will be 504. 70 into 7, 490, and 2 into 7, 40. 490 plus 40 is 504. That means there are 504 numbers without repetition. 504 numbers without repetition. Now numbers with repetition. What is the count of numbers with repetition? From the total 1,000 numbers, subtract 504, which gives you 496. So option C would be your answer. 496 numbers where not even a single digit is repeated. Right here, we have taken all the numbers with at least one repetition. At least one repetition in 496. Here, we have taken all the numbers without any repetition. Right? So total minus without repetition will give you with repetition. Or total minus with repetition will give you without definition. So option C, 496 is the correct answer. We get the next one. Now, here's the next one. Try this out. He's asking us to find the relationship between x and y. Find the relation between x and y, where x is equal to a by a minus 1 and y is equal to 1 by a minus 1. So is the answer x greater than y or y is greater than x when a is less than 1, x is equal to y, x is equal to y only if a is less than 1, x is greater than y only if a is less than 1. So just write, I think, simple. Substitute some value in place of a with respect to the given conditions in the options and see what do you find the relationship there. You have 45 seconds for this. The time has already started. Got it? Okay, so a lot of responses for this one. Uday Sagar has got C. Jindal says x is equal to ay, which means y will be greater if a is less than 1. Prakash Srivastava has got B. Sarvesh Kumar has got E. Uday Sagar has changed his answer now. He says it's A. So, variety of responses. Anyway, let's look at the solution. How do you solve this? Look at the question. It says, find the relationship between x and y if x is equal to a by a minus 1 and y is equal to 1 by a minus 1. Right? So basically, x is equal to a by a minus 1 and y is equal to 1 by a minus 1. Now we have to find out what is the relationship between x and y. Is x greater than y, less than y, equal to y? And it depends on the variable a, right? If you look at the options, option B says y is greater than x only if a is less than 1. Or x is equal to y only if a is less than 1. X is greater than y only if a is less than 1. Now if you have no clue about how to solve these questions, what do? Just substitute some value in place of a. But now that you have looked at the options, you must substitute two types of values. Substitute something greater than 1 and substitute less than 1. Let's substitute a is equal to 2, right? Let's take a case where a is equal to 2. So what happens? X will be equal to what? 2 by 2 minus 1, which is equal to 2. What will be the value of y? 1 by 2 minus 1, which is 2y. Right? 2 by 1, 1 by 1. So we have got x equals to 2 and y equals to 1. So what's the conclusion? X is greater than y. X greater than, right? 2 is greater than 1. 2 is greater than 1. When is this possible? When a is, if See, we have taken a equals to 2, which means if a is greater than 1. X is greater than y, if a is greater than 1. X is greater than y, is greater than 1. Let us substitute a less than 1 and see what happens. Just for the sake of verification. If a is less than 1, so let's say a is equal to 0.5. A is equal to 0.5. Then what happens? So what is the value of x? X will be equal to 0.5 by 0.5 minus 1 is minus 0.5, which is minus 1. X is equal to minus 1. What about y? Y will be equal to 1 by 0.5 minus 1. I mean, denominator will be 0.5 minus 1, which is minus 0.5. Now 1 by minus 0.5 is minus 2. Now compare, what's the comparison between x and y? See, x is equal to minus 1, y is equal to minus 2. So can I again say x is greater than y if a is less than 1? Are you able to follow? So what do we get? If a is greater than 1, we have got x to be greater than y. When a is less than 1 also, we have got a is greater than y. So can we conclude that x is, sorry, we have got x is greater than y. So can we conclude x is greater than y always? Can we simply conclude x is greater than y always? Yes or no? See, y is, or try and eliminate the options. I mean, at this stage, if you're confused that can we conclude that or not, just try to eliminate the options. Is x equal to y? No, we have not got x equal to y. See, x will always, I mean, simple fact, x is a by a minus 1, y is 1 by a minus 1. How is x equal to y possible? Eliminated. Option B says y is greater than x. Did we find y greater than x when a was less than 1? When a was less than 1, y was less than x. Option B was eliminated. X is equal to y only if a is less than 1. When a was taken less than 1, was x equal to y? No, x was greater than y. So D also eliminated. X is greater than y only if a is less than 1. Well, x is greater than y if a is less than 1 is correct. But even when a was greater than 1, we found x to be greater than y. So can we say E is correct? No, because he says x will be greater than y only if a is less than 1. But even when a was greater than 1, we found x to be greater than y, which means E also is eliminated. So can we not say answer is option A? Yes. Option A, x is greater than y. X is greater than y. Any confusions or any comments on this? Now, substitution has given you some answer. Maybe, I mean, see, by the, I mean, when you substitute the values here, of course, it could be possible that when you substitute some other value of a here, instead of 0.5, you substitute 0.3, maybe you get a different answer, right? Or instead of substituting 2, if you substitute 10, maybe you get a different answer. Different answer means different comparison. So what do? Shall we generalize and try it out? See, let's generalize and see what happens. See, we have eliminated. Again, I would repeat, in the previous case, we did not say option A is correct. What we have said is B, C, D and E were wrong. So if these 4 are wrong, obviously A is correct. But if you do it in a general way, what happens? Like what Jindal has been pointing out, right? He says x is equal to a by a minus 1. Y is equal to 1 by a minus 1. So divide x by y, what happens? If you divide x by y, what do we get? A by a minus 1 into a minus 1 by 1. So a minus 1 gets cancelled. Or we can conclude that x is equal to ay. X is equal to ay. Now this equation is important. Now if you want to do it general way, you can understand from this. See, if x is greater than 1, if a is greater than 1, if a is greater than 1, what happens? X will be something more than 1 multiplied by y. Which means, can we say x is greater than y? Yes. By the way, in the previous case, when you substitute x less than 1, we did not consider a negative value. Maybe when you take a negative value, you get a different answer. I think we missed on that point. So when a is less than 1, what happens? If a is less than 1, let's say a is 0.5. So x will be equal to 0.5 into y. Half of y. Half of y. Right? Which means x is less than y. Yes or no? But if a is negative, less than 1 means what? In 0.5, I mean, still positive, let us assume. Less than 1, but positive. If a is less than 1 and negative, then what happens? If a is less than 1 and negative. Negative means what? It's minus 2. X equals to minus 2 into y. So if y is equal to 5, x will be minus 10. Right? Because minus 2 into 5 is minus 10. That means x is less than y. Yes or no? So which means what? Can we now generalize this and say, yeah, in the previous case, I think we had forgotten to consider the negative value of it. So now generalize and see what the answer. X is greater than y, can we say always? No, x is not greater than y always. So I think substitution did not yield the final answer because we missed one substitution, which is x being negative, a being negative. But now if you look at the options, x greater than y is ruled out because it's not always correct. Y is greater than x only if a is less than 1. Yeah, y is greater than x only if a is less than 1. Both the cases we have got this, right? Y greater than x only if a is less than 1. So B sounds correct. X is not equal to y. X is equal to y only if a is less than 1. No. X is greater than y only if a is less than 1. No. X is greater than y only if a is greater than 1, not when a is less than 1. So I think the final answer will be option B. Y is greater than x only if a is less than 1. So our learning from this, guys, should be that even, I mean, substitution is a good way. We always do that. I mean, I usually prefer that, but you have to get, be careful. Like in the previous substitution, we forgot the substitution of a as a negative value. Like let's assume a is equal to -2. Then what happens? X will be equal to -2 by -2 into -2 minus 1 -3, which is 2 by 3. And y will be equal to 1 by -3. So 2 by 3 and 1 by 3. What happens? We get x equals to 2. So -2 by 3 and y equals to 1 by -3. Yeah, so we got x greater than y. But again, depends. I mean, when you, let's say, substitute -1, then what happens? What were you getting the previous results? Yeah, if a equals to 1, then what happens? Somebody has pointed out that what happens if a is equal to 1? If a is equal to 1, then you cannot define it because x and y becomes undefined, right? 1 by 0 and 1 by 0. I think the point is substitution doesn't look to be the best way always because here we are still getting greater than y. Maybe when you substitute something else, you'll find it to be less than y. Here it's very clear, right? If a is negative, then x comes out to be less than y. So I think, yeah, the final answer should be option B only, which is y is greater than x only if a is less than y. A is less than 1. But why are we not getting the answer here? Y is greater than x only if a is less than 1. A is equal to -2. -2 by -3 is 2 by 3. Y equals to 1 by -3. I think option B also is going wrong, right? Y is greater than x only if a is less than 1. But when I take a less than 1, y is coming out to be less than y, less than x. Yeah, so looks like something is wrong here. Either we are committing a mistake or okay, we'll keep this on hold. I mean, clearly C, D, E are wrong. It should either be A or B. We have to all find out that value of A, which is less than 1, and which shows that y is greater than x. So we'll do we'll park this for now. We'll take it up later when we meet next in our live sessions for your IT jobs aptitude test prep. Let's move to the next question for now because time is already up. Let's solve at least one more question before we close. Okay, here's the next one. Try this out. One more question on some sort of permutations, right? It says boxes numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are kept in a row and they have to be filled with either a red ball or a blue ball such that no two adjacent boxes can be filled with blue balls. Then, how many different arrangements are possible given that all balls of a given color are exactly identical in all respects? So this is really interesting. Let's see. There are 5 boxes numbered 1 to 5 which are kept in a row and these are to be filled with either blue balls or red balls such that no two adjacent boxes can be filled with blue balls. So how many different arrangements are possible? Find out. 1 minute again for this, and this is the last question for our session today. All right. 15 more seconds and then we'll take up the solution. Let me tell you that the time is already up and this will be the last question in our session today. Anyone who's got the answer? Okay, so the time is up. Let's look at the solution now. See what it says. Boxes numbered 1 to 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are kept in a row, and they are to be filled with either a red or a blue ball, such that no two adjacent boxes can be filled with blue balls. Then, how many different arrangements are possible, given that all balls of a given color are exactly identical in all aspects? So basically, there are 5 boxes, right? Right, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now these boxes are to be filled with what? Either red balls or blue balls. We'll either put a red ball in this box or a blue ball. Now, in how many ways can we do this such that no two adjacent boxes can be filled with blue balls? Such that no two adjacent boxes can be filled with blue balls. So how many arrangements are possible is the question. First of all, let us find out the total number of arrangements that can be done. See, 5 boxes are like 5 places, right? Now look at this. What are the possibilities for the first box? In how many ways can you fill the first box? In 2 ways. You can either fill a red ball or a blue ball, right? You can either fill with red balls or blue balls. So there are 2 ways in which you can fill the first box. In how many ways can you fill the second box? 2 ways again, either red or blue. See, we are finding out the total number of ways. Total ways of filling these boxes, right? So the first box can be filled in 2 ways. Second box can be filled in 2 ways. The third one can also be filled in 2 ways. Fourth one can be filled in 2 ways. And the fifth also can be filled in 2 ways. You have no choice other than red or blue, right? You either fill it with red or with blue. What are the total number of ways? 2 power 5, which is 32. So there are 32 ways in which these boxes can be filled. But then these 32 ways would involve cases where adjacent boxes have been filled with blue color balls, right? Which have to be removed because it says, in how many ways can you fill it? Says that no two adjacent boxes can be filled with blue balls. No two adjacent boxes can be filled with blue balls. Now, a simple way of eliminating these cases. How do you do that? Answer should be less than 32. Very clearly, answer should be less than 32. Of course, all the options here are less than 32. So let's find out all the possible ways, all the wrong ways now. See what happens. Understand that there are multiple possibilities. When he says no two adjacent boxes are filled with blue balls, what kind of cases have to be eliminated? Cases where 2 boxes are in blue color. 2 adjacent boxes are in blue color. Cases where 3 adjacent boxes are in blue color. Cases where 4 adjacent boxes are in blue color. Cases where all the 5 boxes have been filled with blue color. Yes or no? In these 32 ways, there is one way in which first box is filled with blue balls, second is filled with blue balls, third, fourth, fifth, all are filled with blue balls. Now that one way has to be subtracted from 32. Why? Because in that case, you have found that adjacent boxes have been filled with blue balls, which is not allowed. So that is one of the possibilities. Now there are possibilities where only 4 of them are adjacent in blue color, right? So how do you eliminate? Look at this. Let's assume 2 adjacent boxes are in 2 adjacent boxes are blue balls. So what are the cases possible? First, second are in blue balls. So 1. Second, third are filled with blue balls. 2. Third and fourth are filled with blue balls. 3. And fourth and fifth are filled with blue balls. 4. So there are 4 ways in which we can have 2 adjacent boxes with blue balls. Yes or no? 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5. What the 4 ways? Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. In how many ways can you have 3 adjacent boxes with blue balls? 1, 2, 3 can be with blue balls. 2, 3, 4 can be with blue balls. 3, 4, 5 can be with blue balls. How many ways? 3 ways. In how many ways can you have 4 adjacent boxes with blue balls? 1, 2, 3, 4 can be with blue balls. 2, 3, 4, 5 can be with blue balls. Any other way possible? No. So 2 ways. In how many ways can you have all the 5 boxes with blue balls? There's only one way. all the 5 blue rows. That means what are the total number of ways that have to be eliminated? 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, which is equal to 10. So your final answer would be 32 is the total number of ways. I subtract these 10 ways where the adjacent boxes are having blue colored box. So 32 minus 1, 22 will be the answer. Option D. Alright. And with this, we come to the end of this session. I saw that none of you could crack this one, so I'm sure you are happy about the solution here, right? I mean, you've learned something that you couldn't crack. Otherwise, all the previous questions, at least one if you had got the right answer. So, total number of ways 32 minus those 10 ways where we have at least 2 of the boxes, adjacent boxes with blue color box. 22 is the answer. All right. So, let's call it a day here. Thank you all for joining us. I can see one comment from Vishal Rawat here which says, यही सब पढ़ लूँ तो कैंपस का पेपर क्लियर हो जाएगा क्या? Well, Vishal, that's a difficult question to answer, right? I mean, सिर्फ यही सब पढ़ के कैंपस का पेपर क्लियर होगा या नहीं होगा नहीं बता पाऊंगा. डिपेंड करता है कि कैसे क्वेश्चन पूछे जाएंगे, बट हाँ, ये सभी चीजें इंपॉर्टेंट है, राइट? आई मीन, अगर आप पूछ रहे हो कि ऐसा क्या पढ़े या कौन सी बुक पढ़े जिससे हमारा कैंपस पेपर क्लियर हो जाए, ऐसी कोई बुक नहीं बनी है. आपको सभी कॉन्सेप्ट सीखने होंगे, राइट? सभी स्मार्ट मेथड्स और टेक्निक्स पता होनी चाहिए. आपकी कैलकुलेशन एबिलिटी बहुत स्ट्रांग होनी चाहिए. तभी जाके आप शायद अगर इनफ प्रैक्टिस करें तो इन पेपर्स को क्लियर कर पाए, राइट? See, you have to leave no stone unturned. It's not easy. I mean, cracking the exam is very easy, but there's a huge competition. So, आपको practice करनी ही होगी. Okay. All right. So, I think on that note, let's call it an end. Thank you all for joining us. I wish I could solve more questions, but we have very limited time. And I'm sure when we meet next time, same next Friday at 6 p.m. with a session to help you, get ready for your aptitude tests, we will try and do more questions. Until then, keep practicing and take very good care of yourself. See you.